Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. Hopefully, we are all feeling well. I know that some of you won't even be awake yet, but this is a presentation that I'm going to be doing this week, as is a trend that I've seen in terms of people freaking out about the scales and when they are training things like high rocks, conditioning, running, etc. So, higher intensity type training. So we're going to go over that, right? So, clearing my throat. So your scale weight fluctuates more since changing how you train. Now this can leave you questioning, how is this happening? Oh my god, you're freaking out. You think you're getting fatter. You think that, your progress is going back the way you're doing more, but the scales aren't playing ball and it's leaving you feeling frustrated. So let me explain what actually might be happening from the inside out and how we can have a better relationship when it comes to what you're doing and how we can view it in a more positive way, right? So let's say that previously your training looked like 3 to 4 resistance training, so maybe like legs, upper, glute delts, posterior, whatever it may be, and any type of cardio CV work, it was all at a lower intensity. So it was using like the bike, cross trainer, incline steps, stairs, and you're roughly maybe sitting at like 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes it might be a wee bit more, sometimes it might be a wee bit less, but it's that lower intensity. It's more controlled and stable throughout the session. To now, you've changed your style of training, you've maybe got a specific goal, or maybe you just wanted to change it up, and it looks like this. So maybe like 2 to 3 resistance training sessions a week, so it might be like legs, upper, full body, and you might be adding in like 2 to 3 runs per week. So again, there's different styles of running you can do, from tempo work, threshold, intervals, long distance, short distance, compromise running, all of that. And if you think about long distance, sometimes you can be running for 2 hours on the trot. Oh, there's a little cat, meow. And then on top of that, you're doing 1 to 2 conditionings per week, or maybe conditioning classes. Again, this might range with some sessions looking like 25 minutes, and some sessions maybe looking like 60 minutes, but it's all done at a higher intensity. Your heart rate is right up there at its threshold, at its maximum. Oh, Jesus, I need to take a breath there. Now, the key message here, when you see that scale weight increasing, it does not equal fat gain. So the increase in the scales is more normal than you think, even if you're doing more, right? Running and conditioning, aka high rock style, are high intensity training, and your body requires a high demand of glycogen to serve through that to keep your performance at a good rate and to keep it as fuel, use it as fuel, etc. Now, glycogen is stored within your muscles, and every 1 gram of glycogen, it binds to 3 to 4 grams of water. So this is to help your muscles hold on to more fuel for you to maintain a high level of performance, and this is why you then see that scale weight increase, because you've got more going in, and it can increase quickly, but it's not actually body fat being gained. Now, for this style of training, you will need more food in the system compared to if you were on a dieting phase and doing lower steady state cardio. Also, if it is something that's fairly new or brand new, your body is still trying to adjust and trying to respond to this new stimulus, and a new stimulus often creates new stress on the body. My cat is in my bunch of flowers. Now, running is a high eccentric load, conditioning is a systematic fatigue, so both these things you are going to fatigue quickly. After training, your muscles have to repair. Now, any types of training, your muscles have to repair. When you are training, your body breaks down, and what's the right word I need to use here? Breaks down like the muscle fibers, right? So you need recovery, you need rest days, you need sleep, you need good food, you need adequate amounts of protein to rebuild that and repair so that your performance levels maintain or improve throughout, right? This is why protein is so important. This is why eating your food is so important. But this process, it will accrue inflammation, aka you might feel swollen, you might feel bloated, you might feel as if you're putting on weight. but it is water retention, and that causes the scale weight to spike. Now, this is when it is important of recovery days, full recovery days, rest days, things like saunas, things like massages, stretching, like it is all important, as well as aka eating. The amount of training increases, therefore the stress load in your body is going to increase, therefore recovery is even more essential. Now, recovery comes in different forms. As I says, it comes to full rest days, nutrition, adequate amount of protein, carbs, obviously fats as well, and then things like massages, saunas, stretching, etc. Warm-ups, cool-downs, all of that. Now, if you're not feeling correctly or you're not sleeping well enough, this is going to elevate your cortisol. Now, we all have a cortisol baseline, so there's always going to be some sort of cortisol hormone in your body. But if you're adding things on top of it, negative, well, not negative, but like there's a stress load, it's like a build up of bricks, and we need something, aka recovery, food, to bring it back down to that baseline. And if we are not able to bring it back to that baseline and not adding all these important things in, you're just going to stay at elevated cortisol. The body is spiking up of that hormone, and that accrues inflammation, scales to increase water retention, body's inability to repair and rebuild and keep the performance high. So sometimes you do find that your performance, that you're not able to carry out a run to the best of your ability or what you used to be able to do. You're not able to lift heavier, etc. Now, things that we automatically should not do when the scales don't budge is like slashing calories, adding in more running, adding in more CV work, doing a little bit extra. And this is when it's important to trust me as a coach, right? I know so many people will say to me, Nicola, you need to drop my calories, Nicola, you need to add in more cardio, Nicola, you need to do this, Nicola, you need to do that. But you have kept with me for a reason, and I will always keep you on the right track. And it's the same with my own journey with coaching. Like, my scale weight wasn't moving. Did the coach I'm with, did she drop my food? No, she didn't. She kept me on the same, or we didn't do any changes. She just kept me on the same. So if you were to slash calories or adding in more training or running, this could potentially increase your stress even more, aka water retention, scales going up, right? Now, how can we assess this properly? And it's taking data over more than 7 days. It's looking at different measurements, so measurements in terms of your waist, your hips. This is something that I just started doing. Sometimes I don't personally like looking at numbers too much, because I think that people get so fixated on the scales. She's fucking chewing my cupboard, my drawers now, Jesus. I think that people can get so fixated, so that's why I do like to collect more data that's like, it is data driven, like your recovery, your mood, your energy, your performance, your strength, your fitness levels, your cycle, like your sleep. All of that is more important than any sort of measurement or scale weight. But I do think if you're struggling with the scales, then there is other measurements that we can do, and also things like your clothes, things like generally how are you feeling, because if you're like hitting a brick wall, it comes to lunchtime, like it's these kind of things you need to pick up on the trends. Oh my god, it's a picture down. And always remember that more is not always better, and I will 100% vouch for that. When I was training for my triathlon, I was training so much, ridiculous, and in my wee mindset, I was telling myself, I was having these thoughts of, you're not doing enough, you need to do more, you need to, like, that's not good enough, because we can all do that, right? And this is when it's important to have someone there that's going to keep you on the straight and narrow, that's not just going to add more stress onto your plate, right? And honestly, when I was doing my triathlon training, that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing it, was because it made me feel fucking miserable, because I was so inflamed. I was not recovering properly, I had massive stress, and it just wasn't improving, right? Another thing is low carbs and stress. Again, it can accrue water retention, and it can affect things like your cycle, like your mood, your energy, all of that. Now, what you need to be doing is smart programming, recovery and rest days. So if I tell you to take a deload, if I tell you to take rest days, listen to me, because I'm doing it for a reason. I'm not just saying for you to do it to fuck everything off. I am saying it for your best interest and your body's best interest. Always ensuring there's enough fuel in the system, especially around training windows pre and post. And try not to train on an empty stomach. These things again can mess with your digestion a wee bit, but also it's not going to give you the right fuel that you need. I know it sometimes. I'll be coaching people and they'll be like, oh, like I can never stomach anything. I can't do that on a full stomach. But sometimes it's not about having a full meal. See, even like a wee bit of banana, like at least you've got something there, that Rice Krispie square bar. At least you've got something in the system for your body to use. Otherwise, it just ends up using muscle, etc. And another thing is just patience. With anything in your journey, honestly, patience is what you need. If we were all to achieve X, Y, and Z today, like, everyone would do it. And it's not always about getting to the end goal, it's generally about enjoying the journey, embrace the journey. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, but that's what it's all about, okay? Hopefully this helps, and hopefully you have a different and a more positive outlook on this. Obviously, any questions, any issues in regards to it, then let me know. But happy Thursday.